Emily, and I'm going into my first year of university as a Bachelor of Science student. My career goal is to become a physicist, as a professor and a researcher. For my education, this means I'll be earning a PhD. To me, physics is where reasoning and hard science meets with creative thinking, because physicists are always trying to think of new ways to interpret what we observe. So the goal that I'll talk about today for myself is to develop those complementary skills in myself through research positions and my education. The other two goals will be more related to my professorship, which is training these skills in my students and also doing my part to keep science exciting and relevant for both them and the average person. To start with my first goal, I'm going to talk a lot about this picture. The other smiling face that you'll see next to it is that of Katie Booman, the programmer who wrote the algorithm that actually allowed them to take this. We're seeing that good work comes from hard work. Actually, work comes from force times distance, but that's physics talk. So I want to give it my best as a researcher, theorist, and as part of this evolving face of science. To introduce my second goal, naturally, we're going back to this picture. When I saw it for the first time, there were actually some things about it that were familiar to me. I'd already learned that this is the event horizon and that it's brighter down here because of the Doppler effect. But what's really exciting about this picture is that no one has any real idea of what's at the center of it. Walter Lewin, who is the kind of physics professor that I want to be, said that what counts, I found, is not what you cover, but what you uncover. Analogously to Lewin's wisdom and to what we know about this picture, my goal as a professor will be to develop my students' skills over their knowledge, to equip them so that the knowledge, such as what's at the heart of this, is theirs to uncover. The other component of me becoming a physicist is the fact that science students wouldn't be the only people I could reach. I started learning about things like this online a few years ago from talks that scientists publish on platforms like YouTube. I've discovered my passion because of them, so I want to share my future expertise in a similar way. From these same talks, I learned that critical thinking means doing your best to prove yourself wrong before believing that you're right. An example today where we really need this is in the heat of wearing a face mask. A good number of people actually already have this mindset, but it will always be useful, so I want to use my future familiarity with it as a scientist to help people equip it. Earning a doctorate will be a decade-long process, which I'm only beginning a week from now. What the Neinstein scholarship would mean for me is a better chance to be able to fund these graduate studies, which would be my means to gain the expertise to be able to achieve these goals at all. Thank you very much for your consideration.